One of the biggest crash outs in hip hop, if you ask me. I'm gonna give him about top 5. This year, it's got to be Jim Jones.
They thought I was gonna crash.
Now, I hear some of y'all saying, Kanye.
You took the money and I ain't even asked your broke ass for a percentage?
I don't really put him on the list because this is kind of overkill. Kanye's crash out really started in 2023, really his whole career.
Was way more disrespectful to me.
Now, it's all pretty much publicity stunt.
You was a fan.
But Jim Jones,
I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record.
he's pretty much attempting to be the oldest YN in the history of hip hop.
Shay, you not on that level yet, bro.
But there's a method to his madness.
Who wanna do a versus with me right now?
And there's a pattern he been on really since the beginning of the year, and I'm gonna show it to you.
We don't have to get into that because we already know what it is. And they're gonna see soon enough.
But before we get into that, please do me one small favor, hit that like button and apply pressure to that subscribe button.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Now, all over the internet, even before this whole Shannon Sharpe back and forth interaction he had the other day.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit. Well, as far as let's get this right. I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say.
One of the dumbest conversations I've been hearing is Jim Jones saying that he's better than Nas. He made a couple points that we're gonna talk about later in the hip hop sector. That's been pretty much the topic of this last week, which sounds crazy to me because Jim Jones didn't even write his biggest hit. We all know that Max B did. I was kind of surprised that Jim was able to get the whole internet to talk about this, especially when you hear him saying things like this, like,
It's me, Jim Jones, check my track record, then check everybody else's track record, then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them niggas' entries and shit like that. Now,
that's an obvious lie. And by now, many of y'all have seen this stat image. I mean, that's an obvious lie.
gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. You wanna go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries, and pull up my billboard entries.
I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen.
Now, if you're not in the know, this all started from an Instagram reel where a kid went on there and said this.
I'm from New Jersey. We grew up on ballin'.
That's one.
We did not grow up on one mic. Pop Champagne, Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
If I Rule the World, how's that comparable to those songs you just said?
I'm 22. Every Nas song that my man's MJ played, we said we heard that from what, Dub?
2K.
2K.
Now, I can't believe people took that kid serious. I mean, listen to how he even said it.
Cap, Chrome Hearts and the BB Simons belts and all that. Jim Jones is like top 3.
So I'm 22 and Jim Jones, he has won the BBC. Jim Jones took that and ran with it. And part of the methods of the madness is when you go to that Instagram video, you see he has a comment at the top. I'm gonna show you what Jim Jones been doing this whole time. You're gonna see.
Cap, Chrome Hearts and the BB Simons belts and all that. Jim Jones is like top 3.
So, but no, I'm sorry, man. Jim Jones' last album was not better than King's Disease, man. I'm gonna be real with you. King's Disease, for me, the first one, King's Disease, Nas probably put on one of the greatest displays of lyricism for a rapper over 45 that I've ever seen. Eminem been dropping duds. Jay-Z only gave us one album in that age range, and that album, 444, it had some good songs on there, but it was not King's Disease, man.
Jim Jones is more relevant than Nas.
Jim Jones and Nas are in the same era. Jim Jones is 48 years old. Nas is 51 years old. Jim Jones just wasn't a rapper and didn't know how to rap when Nas was rapping.
And I will give Jim Jones this. He might be right about resonating with some of the younger crowd because, to be honest with you, this dude is like 50 years old, and I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody near 50 years old or however age you are rapping. But one thing about me, man, you 50 years old still talking about gang and blood stuff and dope bars at 50, and you're not talking about it like it's past tense, all like that. That's just not my thing. So he might be right. Maybe he do resonate with the youth. Like a lot of them still on the block, and that's like the way he's rapping.
I keep that 40 on my hip when I'm in. You still could get that better price when you in.
You see, Jay-Z and Nas, they're not even doing that. But to be honest with you, this whole Jim Jones and Nas thing, it goes way, way back. If you don't know, these dudes had beef. Really, it was Nas and Cam. But Jim Jones, El Capo, he placed himself in that mix being part of the Dipset. So they had beef a long time ago. And Nas himself, a while back, he already discussed him dissing Jim Jones. Like, what does that even sound like?
I think personally, all you need to do is just either one more MC, and I don't think no MCs will step to you after that anymore, period. But it got, honestly, I can't, like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even so nice about him, how did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm like, yo, these niggas like a Jim Jones, like, I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly, right? But MC-wise, you're not respecting his lyrical game right now. I respect his hustle. I respect his hustle. That's about it.
But before we go too far in this video, if you ever thought about investing in a YouTube page, well, my YouTube page is pretty much hitting the public market. Check this out. Ever want to invest in a YouTube channel? Now you can. On my Gigastar offering page, you'll see how much of my channel's future revenue I'm seeking to share with you. This is an SEC regulated offering. Check out my offering page with Gigastar for all of the details. It's gonna be more details at the end of the video. This Jim Jones versus Nas thing was the start of a pattern that I noticed from a few months ago.
Who wanna do a versus with me right now?
First, this whole pattern, it started with Styles P.
I got 20 records for every year. We can start from 20 years ago. I give him one record for each year, all the way up to now.
Capo versus Styles P.
He don't got enough catalog for that.
But the Styles P thing didn't work.
Styles got a lot of catalog.
Not a commercial catalog. He not gonna last. I mean, I love Styles. You did, but set it up.
Because Styles P is not Nas, but
me and Jim don't do the same things.
Yeah, y'all don't.
I am a bar master.
That's where it's different, though.
I am a lyrical technician. I've been on joints with some of the best MCs in the world. Big, Hov, Black Thought, Talib. I bar shit down. If there's a lyricist, an MC, I'm one of their fucking favorites. Respect. I'm not here to make catchy hooks and do dope shit. I don't knock that. I'm trying to say some shit that's gonna make your soul move. That's what I'm into. I'm into making your fucking soul move. So when I say a verse, you're gonna, if it resonates with you, there's gonna be some shit you may catch 10 years later down the line. So me and Jim don't do the same thing. Yeah. I have the utmost respect for Jim for how he built his career, for how he made his way, and what he does and what he brings to the game. I love Jim. That's like my bro. Right. But I think to compare us is an unfair comparison. I ain't never answer it, and not to disrespect Jim, but that's disrespectful to me and my catalog for me.
Even Jadakiss wasn't jacking that.
We're not gonna talk about my brother Styles, and we're not gonna talk about Cam. One, I don't condone that, and two, there's a lot more other beautiful going on in the world than.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think him and the Styles P, that was a better comparison. That was really the beginning of Jim Jones and his new methodologies that he's been trying out.
They thought I was gonna crash.
Earlier this year, he tried some of this stuff out with someone that he should never do that with because that's Jim Jones' kryptonite, which is Cam.
You act like niggas on your couch. You was a fan, nigga.
Since the age of 6, I've been right here. 1199. This same block, I went to Catholic school since the age of 6. Stop playing with me. And a lot of people wasn't here when I was here at the age of 6. Not on this side.
We taught you how to rap, nigga. How you ran the whole organization.
So what more you want to ask them? The niggas told me how to rap and now I'm platinum.
They went at it earlier in this year because Cam brought 50 Cent on, and ask him some questions about the past.
50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page.
Right.
So when me and you were battling during our music thing, you got members of Dipset to come to the show.
And 50 Cent, y'all know 50 Cent is an instigator.
So I'm sitting there like,
yeah, that was
this is kind of smart, because I wouldn't have thought about reaching out to Yayo or Lloyd Banks. I'm like, niggas going public with this?
But the thing is, 50 just told the truth. He said that he saw certain things out of Jim Jones, which was Jim Jones always wanted to be on the level of Cam. He always wanted to be on the level of 50 Cent. He always wanted to be on the level of Nas. He still wants to be on that level, obviously. And even way back in the day, 50 Cent tapped into that. Pause.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that, and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew I just took the shot murder to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch to see how he responds. And then you see, he like, oh shit, he really like that. Hey, give me this, get me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want you at the show, Jimmy.
Now, what 50 did to reply to all of that is 50 put out old clip of Jim Jones.
That's cool, but now you gotta get violated.
Yeah, super violated. Super duper. So ain't too much he can really do unless he go run around with 100 armed securities all day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get shot at penny.
He ain't getting enough money for that.
That's a fact. And he just canceled all the shows.
He ain't a gang member no more.
Nah, he ain't nothing.
That's what Shotty needs to make sure he do.
When he was talking to Melly Mel, who's in jail now, and he was pretty much putting out a hit on 6ix9ine. Now,
you dig? Mm-hmm. And he need to be very, very, very articulate about what he's saying, why he made people think that nigga was a gang member. He needs to let niggas know that he was never a gang member. He was always a money play for the gang members. He got to figure it out, but they gonna have to violate Shorty, because Shorty on some bullshit.
Not no street dude, I'm a tax-paying citizen now, but that's where I'm from. And one thing I know about that is you're supposed to have certain kind of qualifications to call somebody a rat or a snitch. These are qualifications that I don't have. But the whole point of 50 Cent doing this is, to be honest with you, no one knows why Jim Jones was never arrested, because that was a wiretap that you hear there, folks. And everybody was arrested that was mentioned on that wiretap, including 6ix9ine. Everybody was arrested but Jim Jones. So that was nasty work that 50 Cent did there. That was nasty work.
This all started because I asked 50 Cent a question. Cool. I thought it was cool to ask 50. The shit happened 20 years ago, however many years ago. I thought it was all good. I had no problem.
Nobody in the industry that I know of knows more about Jim Jones than Cam. And boy,
I didn't think it'd be a big deal, because you make up with every nigga that put hands on you.
Man, when Cam take it there with Jim, he takes it there. One of the things he brought up that I didn't know.
Tried to chase French Montana out the game. That ain't work out. Y'all got cool. So cool that you go to his video shoot.
Jim Jones was trying to get Max B associate out of the game. I didn't know that Jim Jones linked up with French Montana.
You're sitting in the crowd watching the premiere, and they dissing you in the movie. You in the movie getting dissed, and you gotta eat it just sitting in the crowd. I had no idea about that. And I think that's crazy that you were sitting there watching the French Montana movie where you get... You ever wonder how you met Mano? Ask him how you met Mano. Mano gonna downplay because they cool now. So Jim plus see Mano one day and was like, yo, what's up with all that saying my name? Mano say, who the f you talking to? Oh, you think I'm one of them niggas? You out your mind? Yeah, and one of the things is Cam, if you listen to him talk about Jim Jones, he really make Jim Jones look crazier than Jim Jones makes himself look. I'm not even gonna lie. Stop tricking niggas out their freedom, bro. Because niggas get around you to put themselves in better situations, bro.
not to be in worse situations than they was before they met you. You get, do you understand that? I don't know if you understand that. That's why niggas come around, but then you send them on dummy missions and trick them out their freedom.
I send people to jail. That's what I'm saying. How? Who did you see me send to jail? What is these niggas smoking? They smoking new drugs out here, you heard? From where? How? Who?
Oh, that's what Cam said. I don't know.
And I know you love Mel, because I love Mel Matrix. That's my brother. I love him. That's your man more than my man, and that's a fact. I'm not denying it. But you said when he come home, he gonna be the triple OG. Get that man a job, my nigga.
He's a bird. He's a bird head. He don't want no smoke. Tell him he a boxer, right? I'll box his head off. Where's the ring at? You getting money, right? Y'all do sports? 10 million right now. Today, nigga, I'll catch a flight wherever you at. In the morning, I'll catch a flight wherever you at. You with Mayweather and them 10 million. I'll meet you in any boxing ring.
I had no idea that this man tried to get Dame Dash jumped in his own facility.
You know, I heard what you know, a couple people called me about what Jim said about me. And I was like, I don't know, understand that. And then I heard what Cam said.
You went and got a couple niggas, and I know these niggas, they my niggas too. You tell them you got a problem, they jump in the car. They don't know who you got a problem with. They get down there as Dame. You bought niggas to jump Dame Dash? Really? Dame Dash, you couldn't fight Dame Dash? Lucky the niggas that you bought was like, oh shit, hold on, I thought we was coming for some real beef. This Dame Dash. But Dame ain't no sucker. Dame was ready to fight all three of y'all. And then when Dame realized the other two niggas wasn't doing it, he said, I want to fight you. You said, I don't fight. Dame said, why you got muscles? You said, I got muscles to look good. You know why I know? Because it's on tape. Did I put the tape out? Did I tell niggas, yo, put that tape out? Because Dame was stunned. Dame said, yo, get the fuck off my block. Y'all niggas ain't about to do nothing. Dame was in downtown on Orchard Street acting like he was in Harlem and told niggas, yo, get the fuck off my block. I told niggas, don't put that tape out, man. It ain't worth it.
You know, that was true. People ask me, it's been brought up. You know, Big Face Gary, he was appalled, but he was like, why didn't you ever tell us? You know, why didn't you ever tell us that he came to the block with his boys and you know, had to almost get into an altercation? And it was really like, when someone that I consider family, I've never been in a situation where someone that I consider family actually tried to have somebody physically put their hands on me.
And just replying to all these stories, it just goes back to what I said earlier, where, of course, I don't have no problem with Jim Jones. It's just for me and my liking. I don't really see no growth from him. What does he do? He wants to show them that he's a real blood.
What's up, Capo? Where at? Shit, right now we're in Baltimore. It's infamous since I was caught. Infamous.
Easy call. Hey, look, easy call. Hey, look, he in good hands with Allstate. He one of my guys. That part. Hey, look, man, I love the home. Pull up like that.
And see, what's the purpose of, you know, going to Compton to show people that you're not a fake blood when you showing people that you have to check in anyway, man?
I ain't gonna lie, when I came out here to do the Certified Gangster video, ain't nobody wanna come outside.
If anything, you should have kept that behind the scenes, dogs. Like,
they said, you gotta speak to this guy right here. I don't know what you talk about, blood. I don't know about no video, no nothing. They said, you gotta speak to Wacko. I said, who? They said, nah, everybody said, you gotta speak to Wacko.
The oldest YN in the history of hip hop. Yeah, stick with me now, stick with me.
They thought I was gonna crash. So the last thing I crashed was the boat in Bahamas. Shout out to my man Ellie. He said, don't worry about it, you heard? The only type of crashing I've been doing. You heard me?
Now for me, the most disrespectful out of all these personalities to Jim Jones, without a doubt, undisputed, even more disrespectful to Cam, if you ask me, in this one incident, is Kanye.
See, this is my issue with Jim Jones, right?
Whatever his mind state is on and where he trying to call himself, I think he going by Ye now? I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with Kanye.
You took the money and I ain't even asked your broke ass for a percentage?
I'm just gonna tell y'all something. As a stand-up comedian myself, as well as a big-time fan of comedy myself, this, without a doubt, is probably the funniest story I've heard this year so far. It don't matter from a comedian, whoever. This is the funniest story I've heard.
And the money was a bit behind my back. I didn't really know about it.
I can listen to this story 5 times. I'm not even gonna lie.
Basically, like, he gonna get a percentage if he introduced me to this crypto, right? Mm-hmm. And I know this sound like a Tarantino movie.
But boy got a little screws loose and shit like that. And obviously from the things that he been talking about, I do see that he needs attention. Like he seems to want the most attention in the world.
When I found out that he was getting the money, I was like, how much money is it? Yeah, I'm gonna take that meeting. Like I wasn't like, oh nigga, you didn't tell me, I'm not gonna. I still took the meeting, and the nigga still got the money, right?
He got paid $2 million.
Yes.
Like, yo, bro, you talking about this $2 million? If I was one of these niggas that love the media, I would put the whole text on with quietly and show you everything that you lied about. Like, bro, don't, let's not do this. We only talk through text, bro.
My issue with Jim was we working on clothes. I said, look, send me a PDF. For anybody that doesn't know, it's like a group of pictures in a folder that you send to the iPhone. You could do like 300 pictures, 10 pictures on it, 10 pages. I said, send me a PDF of all the ideas, all the young niggas you know, and here's all the young niggas you know, and here's all the young niggas you know, and pictures, 10 pictures on it. That was way more disrespectful to me than a nigga figuring out how to get the $2 million. You gonna lie to me about a PDF, you nigga? After I sat and took the meeting for you, you took the money and I ain't even asked your broke ass for a percentage?
And once again, Jim Jones tried to turn this in his favor, right? He had changed the title of a video he was coming out with at that time to PDF to go with what Kanye was saying. Just plays a part in some of the problems we have in our community. Internet or not internet, we shouldn't be having dudes at that age talking about fighting.
But we had our own back and forth. Nigga said he went to shoot the film with me. I said, cool. What? I said I'm flying out to LA tomorrow. We can shoot the 31. That's terms where I'm from. We fight for 31 seconds. I'll kick your ass for 31 seconds. I'll hug you, and then I fly. He said, I got it on text. He said, no, I was just vetting. We don't have to do that.
So I ain't trying to make this a pack out video, really trying to dog Jim Jones like that, because this is really all entertainment. To be honest with you, Jim Jones does have some influence. He had more influence in fashion than what I know of, because I never dressed like how those people was dressing. Like I never really had the chain, you know, but I do know he started that in Harlem, the chrome. I know, but I never dressed like that. But the point of all of this, if you watch some of these interviews and really listen to what Jim Jones is saying, these are all publicity stunts, folks. They're all publicity stunts. I don't know if some of this is scripted. I definitely know that Shannon Sharpe stuff, that was scripted.
I'm putting it like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah, but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in.
I can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas.
Bro,
you're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
The Styles P and definitely this Nas stuff has been scripted with the Fat Joe and Jada. That's all scripted. But on top of that, in the Shannon Sharpe interview,
what I've chosen to do was always chose to try to reinvent myself, but not to the point where I'm chasing, but there's a medium that I reach because I always want to teach these kids, but I always want to learn something also.
Jim Jones pretty much says this a couple times.
I want people to get it misconstrued. You know, I love to give back. And that's what my whole mission is about. And the more I go viral, the more I'm on your Explore page, the more opportunities come to me, the more I can give back. All this comes down to $1 is what people don't understand. This algorithm is a game that I had to learn and understand because I was previously, I probably would crash down so many things that I see on the internet or so many ways that people are talking about me. I had to learn how to reverse that and use these things as fuel for me to keep going and things like that. And that's just what I've been doing. I got to a point where I got good at it, so I know how to use it in my favor. And it's a beautiful thing. It could go against you, it could go for you, but one thing, if you're a smart person, it's gonna work. It's gonna work in your favor, you know what I mean? So I use all my opportunities to turn it into $1. And anytime that I'm seen, heard, they're gonna go want to know about me. Extra stream is an extra $1. I don't care about what nobody says. I need mine in all facets.
Not only that, Shannon Sharpe even mentions that.
And you know, hey, everybody gonna say, man, Jim Jones and Shannon Sharpe was going, baby, hey.
No, they don't understand it. And anybody that say that, they don't play spades. They don't play spades.
So the one that I think was over the top was the Shannon Sharpe one. I'm almost 100% sure before Jim Jones ever even pulled up, they had a conversation. And that's where it went.
The funny thing about it is people not gonna understand what y'all
It's gonna be trendy, Jim. You know we gonna be a story in the morning.
People not gonna understand that. This is what we do.
Now this is what we do.
Like, you know, Jim Jones even started talking about the white girl, but he ain't go too far. He just said, you like young white girls. And like, everybody know the guy like young white girls.
It's for little young white girls.
What these guys was doing is they wanted people to pretty much know that none of this is serious, that they really cool. Everything short of this is a publicity stunt. And it is what it is. The truth of the matter is negativity goes further than positivity online. If Jim Jones was on here just giving Nas props the whole entire time, we wouldn't been talking about Jimmy this amount of time.
One of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that, like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else. Before I heard Jay do it, before I heard anybody else, like he changed the cadence of rap into a whole different steam. Like he's the one that broke the camel's back when it came to artists like, to me, when it came to artists like Big Daddy Kane and all these artists that came right before him. Like after Nas came with that, they started to fade out, and then.
And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not mad at him about it.
Hey, yo, Shannon, did you work out today? You talking all that shit. On weekends, I do warrior sets. These pull-ups with resistant bands, bro. Can you even lift your own body weight? We can all lift a bunch of weight. But can you lift your own body weight, big fella? The world wants to know.
Sometimes I do it myself, but not in a manner. I do give out real opinions about stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times these are opinions that I would keep to myself. But online, I've managed to find a way to monetize my opinions. So why not share them when they're just my opinions? And you know what they say about opinions, right? Which leads me to this. I want to hear your opinion. Do me a favor, leave me a comment in the comment section. Man, I don't even want to know if you think Jim Jones is better than Nas, man. That discussion is over. It's a publicity stunt. But let me know how you feel about the oldest YN ever in the history of hip hop. Well, anyways, you know how we like to end our videos over here at Moxy Approved, right? With that water. I'll see y'all here next time on Moxy Approved.